with the AC. I wanted to give a little bit of context to the two videos I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my reaction to finding out and then Cameron's reaction to me telling him. But before we do my reaction, I kind of want to do a little background because I feel like it matters. I don't know. And I guess I would like to remember this. I don't know if I will or not, but I just want to add it in just because. So, this was taken on July 5th. So, I took a pregnancy test on July 5th. But the month prior, we were in Mexico. And it was like right before my period started. And I fully 1000% thought I was pregnant that month. Like, I had so many symptoms that I never have. Symptoms like before my period that I never experienced. And so, I was like fully convinced that I was pregnant. Like on that trip. I also had spotting and I never have bleeding outside of my period, and so that's why I was like fully convinced. So while we were in Mexico, I took 3 pregnancy tests. The first one was negative, obviously, but I did take it like in the afternoon, so I was like, it's okay, I'll take one tomorrow and we'll see. And it also was like before my period, so I wasn't sure how accurate it would be. Then I took the second one and there was a faint line. Like me and Cameron both saw a faint line, but it was barely there, and we were like, I don't know. Like I didn't think it was positive, but I was like, there's definitely a line. Like, you can see a line. And then I took a digital one after that, and it said not pregnant. So, honestly, Cameron was like, oh, like, it's no big deal. It's negative. But I was like, why would there be a faint line? But I was tripping over the faint line, not gonna lie. But it could have just been like an EVAP line or something. So, obviously, we weren't pregnant that month. And then this is the next month after that I took the pregnancy test. And for context, this is, if you follow my channel, you saw that I took basically a month-long trip to Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and then Missouri. So this is at the tail end of that trip when we were in Missouri. We're at Cameron's uncle's house, and we were leaving in like 2 or 3 days, and I totally could have waited, but I just I wanted to know, and I also really wanted to know if my period was coming because I was nervous about my first day being when we had a 6-hour car ride, and so I just wanted to know, you know? So when I took this, I'm taking it in the bathroom, obviously. But Cameron's mom and cousin were in the living area, like right outside of the bathroom. So I was trying to be as quiet as possible because I didn't want them to hear me and obviously find out before I told Cameron. So I'm not talking in the clip, which is kind of funny. Looking back, I probably should have just waited until we got home, but I wanted to know. And also, I wasn't thinking anything of it. And then a couple of days before I got the pregnancy test, I was like, honestly very moody, and there was something that I shouldn't have been upset about, but I was like so upset about it, and I was like, I don't understand. I could just tell that my period wasn't coming, and my period is like pretty consistent, and usually like I have an app, and if it says like I'm gonna start one day, it's either that day or the next day that I start, and so I could just tell that I was not gonna start like in the next couple of days. So I was like, this is kind of weird. So I went and got pregnancy test. So I'm gonna show you me taking the test, and then we'll come back. Okay, now that you saw me taking the test, I was honestly so shocked, and I'm going to explain to you why I was shocked. And also, like, I thought I could be pregnant, obviously, because I took the pregnancy test, but I didn't know, you know? For a little bit of context and backstory on the whole situation, Cameron and I had talked about not using precautions come May because the job that we worked at, I basically hated since the first week, and I wanted to quit so bad, and I just didn't want any memories of pregnancy to be connected to the job I was at, because I hated literally everything about it since we started in August, like in the middle of August, and come the beginning of September, like I fully wanted to quit, but Cameron was like, let's just finish and like get the pay in the summer. And that's what I held on to the entire time. But it was a struggle because I truly was not happy whatsoever in that job. But it's gone, we're past that now, thankfully. But I did not want any memories of pregnancy and this experience to be tied in with any experience of that job, which probably sounds weird to some people, but I just didn't want that. So we were like, come May, we'll like talk about trying and like not be careful about it. So obviously May came, we started not being like we just didn't really care anymore. Like if we did end up pregnant, it was like we're good with it. But come April, I ended up going to the OB because I had like a consistent pain on my right side, my right pelvis area. And so I ended up going to the doctor just because I had it for a couple months and it wasn't going away, and it was like a stabbing pain. So I was like, we should just go get it checked out and like make sure it's not anything that's a big deal. So I went to the OB and he found a cyst, but because of the size of the cyst, he was concerned that it was an endometrioma, which is like when endometriosis takes over your ovary. That's not the scientific definition. I'm just short little, so you understand what I'm saying. So he was like, this could be an issue and it could like cause further issues like infertility in the future. So he was like, you can either come back in a couple months and see if it shrinks and like goes away and it's just like a normal cyst, or you could go to an infertility specialist and see like if they think it's endometrioma and like what they can do about it. And so we decided to go to the specialist because my insurance was ending in August and we just didn't want it to be like a long process and then our insurance run out and we not have like insurance, you know. Obviously we're gonna get insurance, it's just I didn't want to worry about that at the same time. So instead of waiting 2 months and then having to go, we decided to just go. And obviously the doctor that sent me to the specialist was very cautious about what he was saying, and he didn't say anything that was alarming, but he was kind of like pointing at that it could be an issue and that like there could be bigger problems. So obviously that freaks you out a little bit, and he's sending you to an infertility specialist. So although we weren't going for infertility, that still like kind of raises some alerts, and we were like a little bit nervous about it. So we go to that appointment, and like between the first doctor and going to the specialist, Cameron and I obviously talked, and we were getting a little bit nervous that this could lead to infertility because I feel like it's so common, or maybe I'm just like in that side of social media at this point, I have no idea, but I just feel like I hear about it so often. And so obviously that was a concern, and I've always had very heavy periods, so that was like an obvious possibility. So we go to the specialist and she looks at it and she's like, okay, I think at that point it had shrank a little bit, so obviously it wasn't that big of a deal. And she was like, I don't think it's endometrioma, like it looks like it's like shrinking. And so we were good with that, but then she's an infertility doctor, so she's gonna cover such things. So we started talking about that, and she was like, we could do these blood tests and then we could do all of these other tests. And so I just did the ones that I could do that day because there's other tests that you have to do on specific days of your cycle, and where I was at I could only do 2 things. So the first thing we did was like a blood test. I don't even know what they checked for because they never got back to me on that. But then she was like, we'll do an ultrasound and we'll see how many like egg follicles I can count. She gave us the ranges for like normal and then low and high, and when she counted the first side, it was the side that the cyst was on, and she ended up counting lower than normal. So with that being the first side she counted, me and Cameron were like that's concerning, like having less eggs than typical, especially at my age. And then she counted the other side, and that side had more than typical. So obviously that kind of balances out, and the doctor wasn't very concerned about it, but obviously me and Cameron were like, we know that we both want kids and we don't want to wait until we're older and possibly run into infertility and not being able to have kids. So we kind of just talked about it, and we were like we're good with having kids now. We might as well start now. And we also want to be young when our kids like leave the house. So it kind of just made sense for us to start trying. And we kind of expected it to take a little while. Like, honestly, I kind of expected like 6 months or so, which we are so incredibly blessed that it only took 2 months of trying to get pregnant. And obviously we are so thankful for that, but we did kind of expect it to take longer, which I know I hear a lot of people always say, like, you expect it to take longer than it does, which we are completely fine with. So we started trying in May, I guess. The first month we like kind of tried, but like also kind of not. And then we were gonna start doing ovulation strips so that we could like figure out like specific days. And then we went on our month-long trip, and I forgot to bring them, and we're cheap, so we didn't want to buy more. So we were like, we'll just focus back on it when we get back home and like take the ovulation test and whatnot. But obviously that we got pregnant while we were gone, and we didn't end up using the ovulation test. So that's why we were a little bit shocked when we found out that we were pregnant, because we weren't using the ovulation test to like tell. We just weren't being careful about it. And so that's kind of the background. So now I'm going to show you me telling Cameron, and it's outside because we're at his uncle's house and there's like 11 people in the house or something. And so there's not much alone space, and I couldn't figure out how to get Cameron alone and be able to record it at the same time. So I ended up just telling him, like asking him to come outside and record an intro for me for a reading vlog. And so he was like, okay. And so we go outside. So there is a lot of wind in the clip. So I did cut some parts out where the wind was just crazy, but you could still kind of hear like the majority of it. And obviously Cameron was surprised. He like wasn't expecting it. He didn't even know that I got pregnancy test. So this is a him.
Are you serious? For real? When did you do that? Actually?
I have another one, but I don't have any more feet.
For real?
Well,
I didn't even know you had these. When did you do it yesterday? Yeah. Is that why you asked to go in the lab?
That's why I'm so worried. It's very there.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's there.
I almost didn't take it because these cost $10, and my period's supposed to come tomorrow, so I was like, oh sweet, until it doesn't come. But
I don't think it's coming. Okay.
It's there.
Yeah. Why is it later?
Is you gonna wait till I take the other one?
It's up to you. It's 9 months from now.
I think it's like April.
Is it? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, yeah. April.
So that is all for today's video, just mine and his reactions. I also filmed telling other people, so that will be a video coming soon. And then I've also been filming like first trimester updates, so that will also be a video. I don't plan on doing like a ton of pregnancy content. If you do want to see more pregnancy content, you can follow me on TikTok, because I'll post more there and weekly updates and whatnot. So if you do want to see pregnancy content, follow me there. I'll still post some here. I just still want this to be a book channel. But if you want to see the longer form videos, obviously subscribe so that you can see that, or follow me on TikTok to see weekly updates and whatnot. At this point, I am 11 weeks and 4 days today, and it is August 21st. So that's my little update. We're so excited for this like new chapter, and I'd love for you guys to follow along. And I will see you guys next time.